what I'm seeing is going to happen is the world needs this. It's not just I am Bob and I've got enough money to do this retreat and I want to change my life and I want to do it. What's happening in the world is that we are in a crisis. It's a crisis of leadership. There's so many people. There's so many mechanisms in place. There's so many processes in place that are not about life anymore.
Yeah.
And what we're looking at, who needs to come to this? It's people who are in these positions that have the choice to either be creators or destroyers of this planet, in a way, of humanity.
And it's almost like there's the internal and the external, right? So,
Yeah.
it's an old adage, but who you are with yourself is who you are with the rest of the world. And you emanate the power that you have inside yourself out into the world.
Yep.
And then you also cause the outside world to do that back into you.
Exactly.
Sounds terribly esoteric, but
Yes.
it's just the truth. It's just how the world actually
That's
is.
right. As above, so below.
That's right,
Yeah.
inside and outside. And there are all these ways of understanding who you are in the world
Yeah.
and your impact on the world and the world's impact on you.
Mm.
And with understanding comes the capacity to do something about it, to be responsible for both yourself and your environment.
Yeah.
But embedded in Australia, I'm from Australia,
Mm-hmm.
you're from Australia, you've got a lot of experience in Asia.
Yep. Yep.
Embedded as we are in those places, it's very, very hard to take a breath for a minute and even learn. There's how many books are out there about how to, but like you read them at night by the Kindle, by a blue light, and then you go to sleep and go, oh, now I've learned something. It's hard.
It's very hard because it's, what's happening is that we are in the age of information overload. There's no, we can get it anyway. We can go on YouTube. We can go on Kindle. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say any brand names here, should I? We can, there's no shortage. But what it's about is integration. We don't have a chance to integrate it. And that's what we need to give people the opportunity to do. And integration through bringing that out of this abstract imaginary cloud into the body and then into action on the planet, in society, in the community, in family, in everything. Because again, we've all read, how many times have you read a self-help book? We've all read them and many, many times over,
And they're great.
they're wonderful. For goodness sake, they've been catalysts in my life for certain things. But practically applying that to life is a whole nother question. It's the same reason why I think the statistics are only 2% of people ever benefit from a particular diet. There's you've got all the diets, right? Your keto, your paleo, your Atkins, forget the brand name, sorry guys, but it's only 2% of anyone ever sticks to it and ever benefits from that. Because, theory and application are two things that have to go hand in hand.
So on the statistics level, it takes, there's all kinds of different evidence for how long it takes to change your habit or change your environment from somewhere between 6 weeks and 3 months.
Sure.
Roughly, right?
Sure.
So, this retreat is more than just the week. The week is the peak.
Yeah.
The whole program starts 6 weeks before and ends 6 weeks after.
Yeah.
And in the first half of the program, you will work with us to look at, for me, looking at your life trajectory, the trajectory of your life, and the phases of your life, and how you could fulfill on each of the components of your life fully. So come to understand what it means to be a complete and fulfilled human being for yourself. It's like putting a doily on top of this complex embroidery. Until you put the pattern on top of the embroidery, you can't see the bits that are unique. You can only just look complex.
Yep.
So we'll do that work in the lead up, and then on the week of the retreat, and then in the 6 weeks after, you get to take that back out into your life and actually test that. Well, it's not the right word, is it? Embody it, live it, experience it.
Yep.
So that's what you'll do with me.
And with me, we are going to understand how the body works on many, many levels. So I look at patterns. Patterns for me are the basis of either health or non-health. I don't want to call it disease, but it's, I look at either ways to integrate certain patterns that have been destructive into creative patterns, and also, including addictions, including, simple, can be very simple things or very complex, including trauma, and how we can transform those through an alchemical process, basically, that is based on inner work. It's based on understanding oneself and understanding how the body works through the ancient traditions, which are universal. That's what I would bring to the table, and the tools that you can then take away into the world and use them.
And the bit that you say about the ancient traditions,
Yeah.
so homeopathy and that approach to health is as old as human being.
Well, homeopathy, in my opinion, is the modern casing of the alchemical tradition,
Okay.
the alchemists. Yeah, it goes all the way back to ancient Egypt and beyond. And I look at that within the context of traditional Balinese healing.
Right.
So there are principles, and through my research and the years that I've been involved in this process, I've found that the more I delve into this, the more I see the universal thread that connects it all, and it becomes more and more beautiful. And that's what I want to bring to this. How do we take this knowledge of these mystery schools, that they're hidden in plain sight, in our society, but they are becoming more and more difficult to access, especially when people are embedded in such, in such challenging times, with just survival, let's just say. And for me, this is a chance to actually delve into that and explore and start the process of the inner work journey, which goes for the rest of your life.
Yep.
I mean, like you say, we start at the beginning. Our time together is it's the apex. It's a concentration of that energy.
Our time in Bali, the week in Bali.
The week together in Bali, and then after that, the process continues, and then we all, each of us, it's going to be a process for me and for you, and for the group. It's with group work, you just see. For me, it magnifies each individual's process. Yeah, we can all go away and do this by ourselves, on an individual level. But when we get together as a group and do it, I believe that it amplifies everyone's individual. It's exponential, actually. Yeah.
So you'll find a bunch of people who are interested in exploring what's unique about them and what's universal about them from a spiritual perspective and from a physical perspective, and feed your mind so that you understand what it means to achieve balance between all the three realms, between physical, material, that's the same,
Yes.
physical, mental and spiritual.
Yep.
And at the end of the program, the 3-month program, you'll have a vision of your life at 80. So what your life, like you'll do all the way back to the date of your birth and back up to now to get the leitmotif, the recurring themes of your life, the soul's journey that you've lived all through your life up until now, and draw from that like a golden thread, something that is consistent throughout your life and will be able to throw you forward out into the future. And from there you'll be able to create a sense of what your life looks like that will fulfill you as an 80-year-old person. When it's kind of done, the game is complete and you're looking back over your life. And then a concrete plan of 10 years so that you can start to implement that as a trajectory for your life now, like from the day you get back. And you'll work with us for 6 weeks when you get back in order to start implementing that program. So I promise you that by the end of the program you will have shifted the trajectory of your life enough to change where you're going to end up and have it be a fulfilling and satisfying life. But as Choc, why it's us two working together is because Choc brings another whole component to the tools that you need to actually live that life, right?
Exactly, live that in good health.
Yes.
Because we can have all of the we can have all of this
Insights.
insights and the philosophy and everything. But if our temple, our body, on every level, on a physical, on an energetic, on a emotional, on a spiritual and a mental level, is not functioning in harmony in an integrated way, then
You're screwed.
you said it.
You're screwed. Doesn't matter what you learn. And Chock's approach to how to support the temple, to support your human body, is quite a deep and integral one. So it's not just, well, actually there are pills involved, but there's some pills.
It can be, yeah.
But, it's an entire approach to the integration between your body and your spirit.
That's right.
And it's almost coming through the lens of spirit to your body, not body to spirit.
That's right. Yeah. Because everything works on that. Everything, it's subject to the laws of gravity from the more subtle realms down to the dense physical. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. And where we link up is on that level of I mean, if you want to do this program with us, it really is about how do you get into contact with those more subtle realms that actually give you a sense of what your own life is. See, the leitmotif and the journey that I talk about, it's not something you create. When I was younger and I did this work with people, I used to do coaching programs, and I was in my 20s and 30s, and I'd be like, you can create this new future and we'll just create something amazing. And we did, right? And it was totally appropriate. But I'm 43 now. Chock just had the privilege of turning 40. He's getting there. He's got a few.
Got a couple of greys there. Yeah.
And it's no longer appropriate to just create what the future holds, because actually you've lived an entire life that tells you who you really are and the gift you've really got to give.
Yeah.
And your job now as a mature person is to discover what that is, to actually stop long enough and be healthy enough and be present enough to what's going on in the world inside you and outside you, so that you can start to find out what it is you're meant to give back. What is the gift you've spent your lifetime learning? And then when I talk about your life vision at 80, I don't mean this created, woohoo, we're going to create this. I mean, it can be wonderful. I'm happy if you're on a yacht in the Mediterranean. I intend to be with a chateau in the Dordogne, right, which I also intend. But, that's not really what it's about. There's actually something deep in you that you were born with that you're now old enough to discover. And in this retreat, in this 3-month program, we're going to give you what you need to discover that, like as a living experience for yourself, and a sense of clarity and purpose in your life. And then Chock will provide you, and we'll do both really, but Chock will provide you with some of the tools you need to actually maintain the temple, and that connection between body and spirit, so it stays alive.
That's right. And we'll also, one of my other principles is that our microcosm of our body is a representation of our effect on the planet.
Yeah.
So, whatever occurs in our body is going to be relative to the impact that we actually have on this whole planet. And it's a reflection of that. So, and the way we live and our impact on the planet is also a relative reflection to what happens in our internal microcosm, our body. So it's really learning about this. It's a very simple concept, but it will take us to some quite deep places. Yeah.
So one way of looking at it is we're going to take you up the hill, and then you're going to sit on the summit and explore the journey, and then take you back down into the world. And the other way to look at it is we're going to actually take you from where you are and bury you down, take you down, 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 until you really get to the place where you can discover who you really are, and what you've got to bring, and how you're going to maintain that for yourself, and then support you on your way back up, so that you can bring what you've learned back out into the world for yourself and your family. So if that interests you, we'll send you click on the landing page, and there's a pamphlet, and register your interest. You can also contact either of us directly, and we're happy to have a conversation. We're more than happy to have a conversation with you about that.
Yes.
Or about anything.
Most definitely. Yep.
That pertains to this program. We look forward to speaking with you and possibly meeting you in February.
Yep. All good.
Bye.
Bye-bye.